Councilwoman Kramer to the dais. Councilwoman Kramer. Report to Gate B.
That would be the goal. That would be the goal.
Okay. Who's missing? All right.
I ate before I came.
Okay.
I kind of figured that we weren't going to get paid for the tax office. Not a big deal.
I was going to stop and get matzo.
Good.
I didn't have time.
Good. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the City of North Miami Beach's City Council meeting of Tuesday, April 7, 2015. Madam Clerk, will you please take the roll?
Councilman DeFilippo.
Present.
Councilwoman Kramer.
Here.
Vice Mayor Martell.
Present.
Councilman Pierre. Present. Councilwoman Smith.
Present.
Councilwoman Spiegel.
I'm here.
Mayor Valle.
I'm here.
We have quorum.
Thank you very much. And if everyone would please rise for the invocation this evening and our Pledge of Allegiance. Madam Clerk, our invocation, do we have a... No? Okay.
It's me. Good evening. As our invocation tonight, I would ask that we all just take a moment of silent reflection. Amen.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Okay. Thank you. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests for changes to tonight's agenda?
Mr. Mayor, I have a few. I'd like to add to presentation by Councilwoman Smith the recognition of business.
Where?
To the presentation.
Okay, got it.
Okay. We're pulling from the city attorney's report. He had a report on post-service benefits that he was going to make. We're pulling that from his report and adding it as a discussion item.
So it is... Okay, got it.
And I would like to add an election update to miscellaneous items.
Okay.
And also, Assistant City Attorney Johnson contacted me this week just to say that on one of your staff reports, memos about the grant changes from Ulita Park to Allen Park, that there was a typo at the bottom where it said that the money was going to be changed from Ulita to Ulita. And it's I think it's Allen to Ulita or vice versa. But
and that's Resolution 2014-27.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. And those are the changes, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, as you can tell, I'm starting to lose my voice, so I'm going to try not to talk too much. So I'm going to let everybody else talk tonight. So let's go ahead and start with our presentations. We have item 5.1, a Library Week proclamation. I think, Madam Clerk? Yeah.
Mayor and Council, this is National Library Week 2015, and we have a proclamation here.
Our librarian is here. Come on
okay,
up.
come up. We didn't know if they were here.
And her staff.
Oh, okay.
Come on up. Again, the Mayor and Council of the City of North Miami Beach, along with its staff and residents, would like to recognize this week as National Library Week 2015, and a portion of the proclamation reads, whereas libraries create potential and possibilities within their communities, campuses, and schools, and whereas libraries level the playing field for all who seek information and access to technologies. Whereas libraries, librarians, library workers, and supporters across America are celebrating National Library Week, now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and Council of the City of North Miami Beach proclaim April 12th through the 18th as National Library Week. We encourage all residents to visit the library this week to take advantage of the wonderful library resources available at NMB Library. You have unlimited possibilities at the North Miami Beach Library. Congratulations, ladies.
Yes. I would like to thank so much the mayor and council just for supporting us. We're one of 4 libraries that are independent in Dade County. And I think the fact that we are able to meet the citizens' needs is because we are a close community and we're able to seek out what they need and provide it for them. So thank you for your support of education. Thanks. And to Paulette, who does a wonderful job in supporting us. She's the best. Thank you.
Thank you, guys, for the outstanding work. Okay, our next item is we have Dr. Jean Teal, our principal from Fulford Elementary. Dr. Teal, welcome. And you're going to give us an update on our school and upcoming school improvements, right?
Yes.
Great, welcome.
Hi. Good evening, Mayor, Council. I'm Dr. Jean Till, principal of Fulford Elementary School, lead principal for the North Miami Beach feeder pattern. I'm here on behalf of Dr. Martin Karp, school board member, and Ms. Vivian Santi-Esteban Pardo, North Region Superintendent. I'm here to share with you some highlights about the things that are happening in the North Miami Beach feeder pattern. There are 5 schools in the North Miami feeder pattern. It's a very small feeder pattern. We consider ourselves to be small but mighty. We have 5 schools, which consist of North Miami Beach Senior High School, JFK Middle School, Fulford Elementary School, Sable Palm Elementary and Grinnell's Park Elementary Schools. There are a lot of great things that are happening in the schools in the North Miami Beach feeder pattern. All of us have wonderful programs, great initiatives to support the state and the district standards that we have to expose our students to teach them, to have them prepared for the Florida State assessments and so forth. But I want to share with you tonight the highlights from each of our schools, 4 or 5 highlights, so you can get a real sense of the wonderful things that are happening in your community, your schools in the North Miami Beach feeder pattern. I'll start first with Fulford Elementary School, where I am the principal at Fulford Elementary School. We have a French extended foreign language program. We also started this year a robotics after-school program for those students that are interested in the math and the science. We've received a grant from Target for field trips to expose our students to the world of work, whether they have the opportunity to go out to the different businesses within our community and make that connection from what's happening in the classroom with the real world. We also have 5 students that were selected to participate in the superintendent's Elementary Honors Orchestra, and we're very proud of that because they were able to compete among all students within the school district for elementary school, and tomorrow they will be performing at Coral Park Senior High School. We have many students. What we want you to know is that our students participate in many state and district initiatives, and they're being recognized on a daily basis. We have many of our students at Fulford Elementary School that participate in district-wide art competitions, and I just want to highlight some of those recognitions. This isn't all of them, just a few of them. They participated, and they were recognized where you will see their artwork in the Taste of the Tropic exhibition at Pinecrest Gardens, the Women's History Month, that's on display at the School Board Administration Building, the Haitian Heritage Expedition, the Miami International Airport. You'll see students from Fulford Artwork and Concourse E, Bakehouse Art Complex, among many, many other competitions that they participated in. At Grinnell's Park Elementary School, they have an after-school cooking program, which is Common Threads. They also received the Award of Excellence by the Superintendent's District Advisory Panel for Students with Disabilities. They have students that are competing in the Battle of the Books, and they also have an after-school engineering program. All of our schools try to support the STEM programs to increase the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics components. Sable Palm Elementary School, they also have a robotics program after school. Their students were recognized by Governor Rick Scott for artwork that they entered into the State of Florida Black History Contest. They also received a grant to plant an edible garden. So these students are maintaining an edible garden. They're also employing their mathematics and science skills to make predictions, to measure observations, which ties into the science experiments. There are teachers that have received the Donors Choose Program Awards. Students at JFK Middle School are very involved. That school has increased their academic and STEM focus. They also have a robotics and SECME program. For this particular school year, they have received various grants from places such as Toshiba, UTD, Chevron, Foundation for New Education Initiatives, and so forth. They were recognized this year for the National Magnet School of Distinction Award. They have been recognized as one of the top 24 magnet schools in the country. They are also top in attendance among all middle schools for Miami-Dade County Public Schools. They have received third place in the North Regional Chess Tournament and numerous district science and agri-science fair awards. At North Miami Beach Senior High School, a student was just accepted to Duke University. So I'm sure that's great because didn't Duke win the college basketball championship? So now we have a student from North Miami Beach Senior High School attending Duke. 4 students received the Posse Foundation Full Tuition Leadership Scholarship. 4 students are Gates Millennium semifinalists. 3 students are state finalists for the 2015 Science Fair. Students have received the Bronze, Silver, Gold Medal Science Fair Placement Awards, and also a student received the University of Florida College of Agricultural and Life Science Awards of Merit. So as you can see, great things are happening. And all of our schools are enhancing instruction because every school has received Promethean boards, so teachers are instructing based on with the use of technology, trying to enhance the delivery, make it more engaging for students. Many of us have received laptops and tablets to further increase student interaction with technology and be prepared to really be involved in society today. So as you can see, a lot of great things are happening at our schools, and we hope that you're proud of what's happening right here within your community with the North Miami Beach feeder pattern. Thank you. Are there any?
Thank you, Dr. Teal. Let me, please don't sit down if you'll give us a second. I'm sure we've got a few questions. Let me go and start here. Councilwoman Smith.
Dr. Teal, I have a question about the educators because I'm so proud of Dade County that every student gets a computer and that we have flat screen TVs. But how often are the educators updated to what is happening so rapidly to teach the children on those computers?
We have ongoing professional development. Prior to the rollout of the Promethean boards and the computers and things that the schools have received, the district provided professional development for the teachers. And we also try to sustain that professional development ongoing because we have what's called the Train the Trainer program, where you train individuals who are on staff, available, able to assist the teachers that are involved in that, and then also continuous ongoing professional development that's provided throughout the district to keep teachers abreast and aware of how to infuse and utilize technology correctly. So that ongoing professional development is embedded, and teachers also have the opportunity through their portal to register for professional development as needed. There's ongoing professional development that's available to them through the district as well as school site professional development.
Thank you very much. I'm very proud of the North Miami Beach. As many as awards and as many placements as these students have done, there's always room for more, and there's always room to take that bottom kid and bring him up to somewhere around the top. And I thank you and all your educators for everything you do to make that happen to for these students.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Teal, thank you so much for coming out and giving us the update. We know there's a lot of wonderful things happening in our local schools, and we're very proud of that. And we're very proud and happy to have principals like you in our feeder pattern that are doing an outstanding job with our students and for our community. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks. Next presentation, I want to turn it over to Councilwoman Smith. You have an honored business presentation.
I do, and I'd like to call up my 3 Mary Paul and actually Richard, Mary, and Paul. Please come up because we decided as
Councilwoman.
Thank you. To the public out there, we decided that we would honor long-term small businesses once a month in North Miami Beach. And I brought Richard and his beautiful wife Mary and their son Paul that have one of the longer businesses in North Miami Beach, and it's located at 1777 Northeast 163rd Street. And let me read this recognition to them, and then let's talk a little bit more further about what they do and how long they have been in our city. Okay, so here we are. The recognition is for their pharmaceutical business. Probably most of you know them if you've been around longer than 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, or 45 years. You probably know them. They're at the Prescription Drug Foundation, of which is a part of our city since 1970 and moved to the new location on 163rd Street in 2007. So we're recognizing you as a leading member of the business community in the city of North Miami Beach, presented on the 7th day of April 2015. And I'm proud to present it. I know Mary, and I know that Councilman DiFilippo from the Chamber sees Mary every month. She's a very big participant, and she also is a very big donor and generous to the community. When we need something, Mary's the first one there. I've just met her son tonight, and it's my honor, and her husband, we've seen each other once before, but I thought about their business, and I thought about bringing them forth. I remembered them when they were on 164th Street, and I have to tell you, what's exciting about their company is it's a family-owned, family-operated, very personal business for pharmaceuticals from them to the clients, to the customer, 150 to 200 prescriptions a day. But I'm excited about the new program that Paul and I talked about today, which is it's almost a medicine management program between the physician, the customer, and the pharmacist. So let's let Richard talk a little bit about his store, a little bit about this new program, and I think everybody in the audience is going to be exciting to hear that it's in our own backyard. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Phyllis. Hello, everybody. Hi. Hi to your father, Kenny. And hello, everybody here. In just a few minutes, I'm a pharmacist. I'm from Brooklyn, Bensonhurst, if you might know where that is, near Coney Island. But I'm a Gator, went to the University of Florida, came down here, went through the Army. I bought my own store November 1st, 1970. Paul was one of our first employees when he was this big. And my wife and I are partners. I'm the owner, chief owner. I'm the pharmacist. I'm not the brains behind it, but I'm the driving force behind it. I got my doctor of pharmacy degree from Southeastern, right across the canal, and now I'm teaching pharmacy up at Nova, up on University Drive by 595. But by long distance, Paul and I are in communication every day. I work there almost every Saturday. And just to let you know, we are one of the only stores in this neighborhood that does medication therapy management through your insurance company, where we could sit with you and analyze your medications where your doctors really may not have that time anymore. We're the only one around here that is a member of the American Association of Diabetes Educators. We're not certified, we're not CDEs, but we are a member of that organization. So we can talk to you about your sugar control. Even if you're not our customer, make an appointment, come in, meet me on a Saturday, and I'll sit with you, and we can discuss diet, lifestyle issues. If your Flomax isn't working, for whatever the reason you're taking Flomax for, we can talk about that. If your Viagra's not working, I can't go there. Sorry that we have certain limits. You're going to have to talk to your doctor about that one, guys and gals. But basically, we do lifestyle issues. That's why, even though there are places that are a few pennies cheaper here and there, you want to stand online? I don't think so. You want to know your pharmacist? Come in. We have two guys in there, two pharmacists who are about my age, and they are registered pharmacists, and Paul is the manager, the business manager. And we have Maureen, we have Samantha, we have Tom, we have a great team. Bottom line is, it's like an old-time pharmacy, but with new brains from the new doctorate program that I'm infusing into the business. So if you really care about lifestyle and about getting information about your medicines, just go to 1777 Northeast 163rd Street, call Paul, make an appointment. I'll meet you there on a Saturday when I'm there, okay? See ya.
You know, he didn't add that he knows every one of his customers by their first name. Paul says when they come in, they know us by our first name. They deliver in Dade and Broward County, South Broward. But what I want to say to you is this is our backyard for 45 years. This is our backyard that's taking care of us, and it's a privilege to bring you up here and to honor you in this way so that we can at least give you this to take care of you. So one more time, just give them the telephone number and the address.
1777 Prescription Drug Foundation, or just prescription drugs. And it has a big Health Mart sign on the front because we belong to the McKesson buying group, and we use many of the facilities. The phone number, 947-947, the 0433 and 944-3417. So remember it, 947-0433, and ask for Paul Finkel. He's my son. And he will take care of you, or else I'll kill him.
There we go. We thank you again very much. We thank you for coming to our city and staying in our city. It's been our honor. Thank you. Right next door to Polo Tropical.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you, Prescription Drug Foundation. We hope you will be here in the city for another 45 years. So thanks a lot, guys. Okay, Madam Clerk, let's go ahead and open the floor now for public comment if there's any residents that wish to address the council.
The Mayor and Council of the City of North Miami Beach will open the meeting for public comment at this time. There's a 3-minute time limit for each speaker during public comment or for testimony during public hearings. Speakers will be called to the podium. Please state your name and address and/or the name and address of the organization in which you are representing. During public hearing items, please speak only on the subject matter that is before council. The Mayor and Council of the City of North Miami Beach recognize the importance of civility. The City of North Miami Beach requests all in attendance to exercise civility towards each other. First speaker, Trish Harris, then Vonnie Norette, then Muriel Kemp. Yes, ma'am. You signed up.
Hi, my name is Tricia Harris. I live at 2251 Northeast 136th Street, North Miami Beach, Florida, for 53 years. I'm here tonight to invite everyone to the Relay for Life for the cancer survivors. It's going on Saturday, April the 11th. The survivors start at noon. It's being held at Cagney Park, which is located at 13498 Northeast 8th Avenue in North Miami. I am also taking donations. If anybody's interested, I have a web page. It's connected to this. You just have to look up my name. And we're also asking if anybody's a survivor of cancer. We are taking, and I do have the papers to sign people up. We're looking for the survivors to come out and join. They have a free lunch after the walk. The walk goes on from noon till 11, but the survivors walk at noon. And we're a little bit shy with the survivors for North Miami Beach, and that's why I'm here, because I happen to be the survivor chair for the Cancer Society for this particular walk. So I'm asking everybody to come out, join me and walk with me, or come out, donate. If you can afford to donate, we appreciate every dollar that comes through. It's important. I don't think there's anybody in this building that can say that they don't know someone that has had cancer or someone that is suffering from cancer at the moment. Thank God I no longer have cancer. I am cancer-free at this moment as per the doctors. I thank you all for your time.
Oh, before you leave, I was going to say, Ms. Harris, if you could just give us, repeat the website. You said it, but you didn't tell it, and let's make sure everybody knows what it is.
Okay, it's Relay for Life, North Miami Beach, Miami Shores.com.
It's all that together?
I believe you can just go under Relay for Life and then type in North Miami Beach and it'll come up.
Thank God for Google.
Yes. Or if you're friends with me on Facebook,
There you
it's
go.
connected to my Facebook page.
Ms. Harris,
That works.
Okay.
let me give you some donation for your cause. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
198 PO Box 611 254 North Miami Beach, Florida 33261. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council, and all members of the municipal government. Re-elected unopposed means respect, which means you did a good job. If no one challenge you, Mr. Mayor, I cannot afford not to congratulate you for elected unopposed. People talking so much, but no one challenge you, which means you did a good job. People talking so much, but no one challenge you. Only talking, no action. There is a Haitian expression saying that wap kon George. All Haitians know that, which means you will know George. So I'm happy to congratulate you, Mr. Mayor, for the good job you did, because no one challenged you. The whole city recognized that you did a good job. I'm the only one. But the whole resident accept that you did a good job because they talk so much, no action. I'm so happy to once again to congratulate you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Norette.
Muriel Kemp, then Marilyn Baumule, and then Daniela Adams.
Good evening, everybody. Muriel Kemp, 1479 Northeast 178th Street. A very quick question. There is an item for discussion tonight on the health insurance. Is the public going to be able to speak?
Mr. Attorney, that's just a discussion item. We don't actually have, that's not, there's no public comment, it's not a resolution or ordinance, right?
There is no action.
Right, it's a discussion item, so if there was going to be some legislation later at some point, then it would be at a discussion item then.
So nobody would be able to question everything that's in this report? No questions at all?
You know what?
29 years, it's been a long time.
It seems, I believe, you're free to comment right now.
Well, no, because I have questions that refer to this, and there's nobody here to answer them, so it's kind of a moot point right now.
Just to advise the council, David Miller, who wrote that report, argued a very important case in the Florida Supreme Court this morning having to do with pension. And he is currently at the airport, just arrived in Fort Lauderdale, and he's on his way here. So should be here within the next 40 or 45 minutes.
I would, Ms. Kemp, I would suggest, I guess we're not going to have a back and forth thing, but certainly I'm sure the staff will be more than happy to sit down and meet with you and be able to discuss any particular questions.
Mr. Mayor, a year ago, last month, I was invited here to the city on my dime and my time and sat down with one of the council people and city manager and city HR and gave up an afternoon of my time and brought in about 300 plus pages of research that I'd done. I would appreciate at least a few minutes rather than having to go through what I did a year ago. I know I've been the vocal one here, but there are things in here that I would really like a few minutes to at least question. I mean, I put an awful lot of work in and gave the city everything that I had researched with the help of the clerk's office and what the organization that I'm with paid for. But I think there are people here that will, admit to the fact that I was invited in and now I'm being told, no, I'm not going to have private meetings again. I really would like to question the person that did this, just for a few minutes.
Unfortunately, Ms. Kemp, I'm sorry, I wouldn't be able to do that, because otherwise I'd have to do it for every other person that wanted to come in, and we could be here 3 months. I mean, I'm sorry.
Is there going to be legislation on this where we're going to be able to speak?
We will, well, we have to have the discussion item first to have the outside counsel explain it to us, explain exactly what's going on. That was the question that was asked at the last meeting, that we requested this information be brought forward.
I can assure Ms. Kemp that over the last 6 or 7 months, Mr. David Miller, who has the institutional history on this issue, who wrote several legal opinions years ago, that he's reviewed a binder about this thick, including probably much of the information that you provided the city. And he's looked at every resolution, every item, every transcript that deals with the issue going back to the 1980s. And he is prepared to answer any and all questions that you may have. If you would like to have a meeting in my office with Mr. Miller, I'll be happy to provide him to you, but he's on his way here.
Okay.
And I appreciate, the one thing that I'm really a little upset about is that I got an email telling me this was going to be on the agenda, and it wasn't on the agenda, and I'm kind of disappointed in that. It's nowhere in the agenda. So anybody that went to the website does not know that this is even going to be discussed tonight. That's a shame.
Okay. All right.
Well, then I'll play it by ear and see if this comes up for any kind of legislation. But again, I understand, but there are things in here that are very questionable. And that's the way I feel about it right now, and this isn't the last time you're going to hear from me. Okay. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Ms. Kim.
Marilyn Baumule, Daniela Adams, and then Mr. Richard Reese.
Good evening. My name is Marilyn Baumule, and I live at 18635 Northeast 20th Court. And I really wasn't going to say anything. I had nothing to say to you. You're in the middle of an election time, and things are pretty quiet right now. But what you just did with Muriel is not a right thing. This has been going on since the 80s. We have brought it up 30,000 times to every new person that comes up on this council or sits on this dais, and nothing ever happens. Now, all of a sudden, something is happening. I don't know what, if it's just because it's an election, that this is the thing to do this year, or what it is. But that we should not be allowed input into it, I think is not a good idea, and I thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Baumule.
Daniela Adams, 2074 Northeast 167th Street. I am the board president of Aqua Vista Townhomes. It's a few blocks away from here. This is my 7th year as the board president. I represent 94 other unit owners, and the board members have some issues that we're concerned about, that we're constantly bringing up. We've contacted the city, and we're not getting resolution. So I'm going to go through them as quickly as possible. One is the garbage trucks leaking, and they have been leaking for years. We no longer allow them to come on the complex because they're in close proximity to the units. I have called Heil Industries myself, who manufacture the trucks, and the vice president of that company told me several years ago that the trucks should not be leaking and that there's a maintenance issue. I was already told there is money for new garbage trucks, but there's consideration for years whether you're going to, give that to a private company to handle. All I know is that I complain about the garbage. I've been complaining for years about the garbage trucks, and now they pull up outside the complex, and they're spewing out liquids and garbage that's staining the street, and this has been brought up numerous times to the city. So you can either sanitize the street or you can get new garbage trucks, but you can't drag this type of a thing out for years when the liquid is literally pouring out from the back of the garbage trucks, and it's very unsanitary. The next thing is the lighting. Now, the vice president of the board is a GC, an architect, and we've contacted FPL, and we're very experienced in this, and FPL told us that the wattage of that the lighting can be increased so it gives out better wattage. So this is Aqua Vista is in a community redevelopment area. It's a high crime area, and the lighting is very, very dim. And so when we directed this to FPL, they said, no, you have to go back to the city and redirect that question to them why the wattage cannot be increased, okay? This is not Eastern Shores. This is 167th Street over here, a CRA area, okay? The next thing is about the homeless situation. So now I had residents contacting me. They have pictures of people sleeping on quilts right outside our perimeter fence, and not only just outside the perimeter fence, by our gazebo on the canal, that they've got quilts and they're sleeping out there. They send pictures to me. They have alcohol out there. I mean, what if there's an issue with some of these people, mentally or something, and they're drinking a lot of alcohol out there? We found their clothes. We found everything. We had to dispose of it. This is a big concern. At the food courts on 167th and by 19th Avenue, there's several, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 homeless people living there. I mean, they're in our property. The residents are really getting scared and want me to do something. It's time already? Okay.
Yeah. Do you have just like one more? If not, I can. I want you to get. I want to have one of the staff persons go with you to get your entire list.
Okay, well, there's just one more thing.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
The trees, I have requested from an official here that the trees be trimmed on 167th Street because this person has walked the street with me and knows that the people, neighboring properties, do not maintain the properties. And the trees, I don't know when the last time, unless I request that the trees are trimmed because there's rats in the palms. And so this is something that I request. And also there's gumbo limbos being planted on 167th Street, and the root system is now tearing up the sidewalks.
Okay, Ms. Adams, thank you. I would like, Madam Manager, you got all that information if you want to make sure somebody from staff double checks everything, okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Adams.
And Ms. Adams, I just want to add, because Ms. Adams and I have spoken many times, be sure to follow up with the manager, because she's the one that will give the direction.
I called her today and left her a message.
Right, I gave you that cell, and she will follow up with you and follow through. Thank you very much.
Richard Reese, then Daniana Torres.
My name is Richard Reese. I live at 23 Northwest 169th Street. I want to cover two subjects very quickly since we're not going to be able to talk about the other issue. There's two candidates up here. I've got more phone calls than I ever have in the 49 years I've been here about the abuses of two people and the attacks that they're getting about the health care issue. And that's why I think you're doing a disservice to the election and everything else not to air this matter in public. Now, the Civic Association, before any of you were up there, recorded and fought this fight for years and years. And I think there's a lot of misinformation. I already know Franz Pierre, and I had him back here and asked him again tonight.
Mr. Reese, can you just stop you a second? I really don't want you to go into any attacks on any individual council people. You can go. No, but just go ahead and cover the subject. But you go.
Or not. We don't have representation here anymore. Everything's from Eastern Shores. You control everything. There is no districts. Now, you can shut me up and throw me out and whatever, but that's not America, and it's died here. This man has already told us how many times he's not taken health care insurance. The lady sitting next to him. Okay, so you want this election to go your way. All right.
Go ahead. Thank you, Mr. Reese. He didn't want to continue.
Your name and address.
I'm Diana Torres, live in 1879 Northeast 182nd Street, and I'm smiling tonight. I want to tell you what was happening with me. Thank you, Mayor. I've been living with my mom for a while. She's a single mom, and I am a single mother with 4 kids. And I live in 1879 in front of the Quick Stop. This was a place that became homeless city, crime city, watching people doing drugs, actually tearing us apart, getting our fences just broken up. I've been dealing with websites, sending everything out there, doing the crime watch thing, getting signed up and everything. And, you know, they were helping, But I want to tell you, and I want to thank you, Councilwoman Martel, and I want to thank the prospective councilwoman who's trying to be elected also. I don't want to measure her, Kathleen, and the city manager, and the chief of police, and the police officers. I want to tell you that it's been a turnaround in just less than 1 week. When you visited me and we talked, and you gave me the opportunity to know that the city of North Miami Beach have people like you guys working, was such a blessing to my family and I. And I want to thank you because now they planted plants where homeless were just sleeping, where clothes were stolen from Goodwill and just thrown in the back of my yard, where, and I'm going to say it because we're all adults, where I have homeless masturbating in front of me, and I have a 6-year-old daughter. And this is just on 19th Avenue and 1879, where everything is beauty until you get to where I live. We walk through it, and this is ridiculous. Well, I am proud to say that my kids are now planting their own flowers outside. They are bicycling outside at the alley, and it looks beautiful. And I want to thank the police officers, especially Officer Perez, because he came out there, actually took the hose from my house and started hosing down the alleyways and cleaning it up for us. This is something that I had not seen in years. And I'm here today because I want to thank all of you. I want to thank you because it has given my kids a chance to actually go to the backyard and play. We were not able to do that. And this is just around the corner from here. And it's something that maybe a lot of people don't say, but I wanted to come here tonight and say it. So thank you. I want to thank the police that have been coming around. I thought it was going to be a lie, and I see them there at 7 o'clock in the morning just patrolling my area, just to make sure that everything is good. I had a homeless person living with a key inside a dumpster right next to my house, cooking every single day, fire coming out from a pot, and almost got into fire right next to my home. We could have been dead. I would not probably be here today to say this. So I'm here to say thank you to all of you, and I will work with you guys in anything that has to happen, especially with the quick stop. Something has to happen with them as well, because the policies and procedures from the city has to be enforced with them. They cannot keep giving these drinks to people who are already drunk or at certain times of the day. We have to clean up that 182nd Street.
Ms. Torres, thank you very much. Thank you for speaking up to telling us about it and bringing it to our attention. I want to obviously thank the police department for taking action on it, and I can assure you the administration is going to stay on top of that. Definitely. No one should have to live with that next to them. So thank you for coming out and speaking up on it.
I'm living in peace now, so thank you so much. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I just say something really quick?
Very, very.
As mentioned to you before, whatever you need, I'm just a phone call away. And that doesn't change regardless of what happens.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I want you to know that you were big help. Thank you. Bye.
See, that's why we have to get elections more often. My name is Mubarak Azan. I reside at 15564 Northeast 12th Avenue, North Miami Beach, Florida. Good evening, everyone. Today I come to speak on two items. The Dr. Martin Luther King Park and the councilperson, the Rose Park. But before I go into there, every meeting our honored city clerk would read into the records that the mayor and council recognize the importance of civility. Mr. Mayor, you wouldn't like me to address you as by the first name or even your second name. You would like me to say mayor, same as the city council members, each and every one of you, while I'm standing here. Outside in the parking lot is different. Now, I look at Dr. Martin Luther King's Park. I would say maybe it's a typo because it's the year 2015. But when I look at Dr. Martin Luther King Park, it named Martin Luther King That is the guy I was playing with. No, this is Dr. Martin Luther King. And you need to fix that typo. This is a city of inclusiveness, of diversity. This is not a black city, it's not a white city, it's not a Hispanic city, it's a city for all human beings. And when I look at that park, I want respect to be shown to everyone. My mother is a black woman. Her people also must be respected. I come to Councilman DeRose. Over a year, almost a year and a half, the park on 13th Avenue was renamed after Councilman DeRose. I am sure if he was not Councilman DeRose and he was somebody else, that park would have renamed so quickly after that person before the ink can dry. Why is the disrespect being shown to Councilman DeRose? Is it because he's tall, dark, and handsome? That should be a plus. Rename the park after him without a shadow of a doubt, without any further delay. I see you people take money, you spend it wisely, and you also squander it. How much would it take for a signboard to put up there in dedication of Councilman DeRose? And with that, I thank you very much for having me, and I'm sure you're looking forward for more of me soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kazan.
That was the last speaker, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Madam Manager, I'm sorry, I've been losing my voice, but is there an update on the ribbon cutting of the park?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. When we dedicate a park, and I've dedicated many over my 25-year career in Parks and Recreation, we just don't go and put a sign. We plan a really outstanding event. And 2 weeks from today, our Director of Public Works, who has walked the park with Councilman DeRose, and I have met with Councilman DeRose, will bring back information about a big event that we have planned for May 16th to rename the park and do some really, really nice improvements to the entire park.
Okay, we'll keep the residents informed. Thank you, Madam Manager. Wonderful. Okay, public comments closed. Let's go ahead and take the consent agenda, which I have is 8.1, 8.2, 8.3, 8.4, 8.5, 8.6, and 8.7.
Move to approve consent agenda as stated.
Second.
Okay, on the a motion to approve the consent agenda, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Attorney.
8.1 is a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami Beach, Florida, approving the settlement agreement and release of all claims by and between claimants Cyril Broily and Subrogé Société de l'Assurance Automobile de Quebec and the City of North Miami Beach in the amount of $52,000 to resolve claimants' demands for damages alleged to have resulted from a motor vehicle accident, authorizing the city manager to execute the settlement agreement and release of all claims. 8.2 is a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami Beach, Florida, accepting and approving the $10,080 grant for the city's sports programs for fiscal year 2014-2015 from Miami-Dade County through its Office of Management and Budget, Grants Coordination, and Contract number 15 NMBE-CB, and authorizing the city manager to negotiate and execute all necessary documents in furtherance of acceptance of the grant. 8.3 is a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami Beach, Florida, accepting, approving, and ratifying the fiscal year 2014 Florida Department of Environmental Protection Assistant Grant and Agreement, LP 13014, and authorizing the city manager to negotiate and execute all necessary documents in furtherance of acceptance of the grant funds. Resolution R 2015-26 is a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami Beach, Florida, accepting the proposal of Branch Banking and Trust Company, BB&T, pursuant to RFP number 2015-03, refunding revenue and capital bond series 2005C. 8.5 is a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami Beach, Florida, approving amendment number 1 to agreement between Miami-Dade County and the City of North Miami Beach, granting the city funds from the Building Better Communities General Obligation Bond for Allen Park renovations and improvements and Ulita Community Center park improvements, and authorizing the city manager to execute the amendment to the agreements with Miami-Dade County for the project. 8.6 is a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami Beach, Florida, approving the North Miami Beach Community Redevelopment Agency fiscal year 2014-2015 amended budget, authorizing the city manager to transmit the CRA fiscal year 2014-2015 amended budget to Miami-Dade County, authorizing the city manager to take all action necessary to complete the approval process for the CRA fiscal year 2014-2015 amended budget with Miami-Dade County and approving an effective date. Resolution 8.7, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami Beach, Florida, approving the settlement agreement resolving litigation style Siegel versus City of North Miami Beach, case number 14-019426, CA1, 11th Judicial Circuit, Miami-Dade County, Florida, and authorizing the city manager to execute the settlement agreement and release of all claims. And that concludes the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Okay, Madam City Manager,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
you can do that in about 30 seconds, right?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Real quick, I want to bring up Chief Scott Dennis to just give us an update on the Tour de Force, which will take place April 13th. Quick update, please.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, staff. This Monday at 10 a.m., the North Miami Beach Police Department is going to be the sponsor, one of the many sponsors of the 18th annual Florida Tour de Force. This is a group that was founded here in North Miami Beach and is dedicated to giving monies to the families of officers that were killed or injured in the line of duty the previous year. Last year we had over 800 riders involved in the overall event. It's a 270-mile ride that spans 4.5 days, starting from the Denny's at Sunny Isles, and it goes all the way to Daytona Shores. Last year, it resulted in $36,000 being given to the family members of officers that were killed or injured in the line of duty. It's a wonderful cause. Anybody that is interested can find it at floridatourdeforce.org. So, thank you.
Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
We have some really exciting events coming up, working in conjunction with Miami-Dade Animal Services and our County Commissioner, Sally Heyman, Mayor Vallejo, Councilwoman Beth Spiegel, and Councilwoman Phyllis Smith, and the rest of our team. We will be having a free spay and neutering event this coming weekend. It will take place Sunday, April 12th. You can bring your cats as early as 7:30 a.m. for the surgeries. It'll take place at the McDonald Center, and this event I've participated in other cities. It's a wonderful event and a great opportunity to bring your pets for the spaying and neutering, and it will take place this Sunday at the McDonald Center. If you would like additional information, please call 305-787-5999. If you haven't already made your reservations, I have, and I know Assistant City Manager Richard Lorbo will be joining us Saturday, April 18th for the City of North Miami Beach Magical History Tour. It's really a great opportunity to really get to know our city that's going to be turning 90 next year. So that'll take place, it'll be a 10 a.m. departure, leaving from our North Miami Beach Library. Space is limited, so please RSVP or call for more information at 305-948-2957, and that's the Magical History Tour. We will be hosting our National Arbor Day event. Last year, our Director of Public Works, working with our Parks and Recreation Department, did an outstanding job at Sauls Park. This year, we're going to be enhancing and beautifying Dolphin Park. So join us Friday, April 24th at 10 a.m. at Dolphin Park on 170th and Northeast 3rd Street as we continue to enhance our city and enhance our parks. Third Court. I'm sorry, Third Court.
Northeast 170th Street.
170th Northeast 3rd Court. Thank you. A really outstanding event. School board member Martin Karp came by and informed us of a great event that it's taking place right here at our Littman Theater, benefiting the Children's Foundation, Children's Survivor Network. Jubano Jazz will be playing April 26th at 3 p.m. Here at the Littman Center. If you want more information, you can call 305-458-4900. It's an amazing opportunity to come and see this great band perform with proceeds going to the Children's Survivor Network. We have our yearly Mother's Day breakfast. Is a great event that we honor mothers and grandmothers and aunts. Join us Saturday, May 9th. This event will be held from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the Marjorie and William McDonald Center at 175-1 Northeast 19th Avenue. Space is limited. Please call us at 948-2957 for tickets. Our first annual Community Spring Festival will take place Sunday, May 17th from 1 to 6 p.m. We will have a variety of arts and crafts, entertainments, music, get to know local businesses. All our departments will have booths there. I know that our Public Works Department will be giving out free trees. Our Water and Utilities Department will be giving information. And it's going to really be an outstanding event, so please join us that day. I wanted to turn this over real quick. Oh, I'm sorry. The location, it's in the corner of 19th and Hanford. Northeast 19th Avenue and Hanford. So come out. It's an event for the entire family and really an opportunity to get to know your neighbor and to really celebrate our community and all the great things that are happening in North Miami Beach. So I'm going to turn this over real quick to Max Serta, our Deputy City Manager, because he's been really taking the lead role, and we wanted to get to the next phase of our strategic plan that was unanimously adopted by every single one of you, and just to let you know what you have and how this will continue to guide us, particularly now as we go into budget season.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just real quickly, you do have 4 items or 4 documents before you. The first is a rather small kind of executive summary it's referred to. It's stapled about 12 or 15 pages. It's this one before me. This is our executive summary of the strategic plan. You also have then 2 bound booklets. It's the strategic plan that we worked on collectively, as well as the action agenda. The action agenda contains the specific deliverables, those that are assigned to each individually of us, to us individually, and as due dates as well. So you have also as that's called the action agenda. Then you have what we've laminated. It's kind of like the playbook, if you would. So that is our strategic plan in a nutshell. And I think this is something you'll see at the dais routinely. We'll just keep that on all of our desks here. So again, this will kind of govern us in terms of what the priorities we've demonstrated and identified, those items that we want to make sure that we're focusing on and accomplishing. And then the 4th item is that's actually all 4. I did the executive summary, the action agenda, the strategic plan, and also the highlighted laminated sheet.
Yep. I have a question about that. When you have the highlighted sheet, do you have to wear headset?
No, but you do have to cover your lips so that the opponents can't see what we're referring to when we're calling the plays.
Actually, I do have a quick question about strategic plan. Aren't we going to be coming up soon on like the first update period? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought we had agreed that like we would do some follow-up visits with Lyle to make sure that, if there's any tweaking, any updates or any of that kind of stuff?
We are going to be planning a refresher meeting that will take place after the elections.
Okay.
This information also has been passed on to all the department directors and to all our residents watching at home and the residents that are here. Basically, this is the game plan that keeps our city on course for the vision of our mayor and council. You will see that we have our mission statement, our vision. We have here the top priorities for our city, the high priority, the management agenda. So this is a very comprehensive game plan that will help us throughout the years and the upcoming years.
Okay. A question here.
Where on the city website do the residents go to find this?
On the home page, on the center right side, there's a tab or a highlighted spot that says Strategic Plan. If you click on that particular link, you'll see all the documents as well. All these documents are included in the agenda that is online and is in your documents as well. So we have them in two places right now. Furthermore, I will add that we're putting around the city, around all the city facilities, some visual cues. So we've developed posters. I think they're very eye-catching, and they'll all be reminding of us visually of what the missions, the visions, the goals we have, as well as the RISE standards that we've adopted to make sure that we are, again, moving forward. And as the manager said, it's these documents that we collectively used to prioritize the items for this year's budget that we're operating currently, and will be the focal point in the years to come as well. So that, again, we're all on the same page, moving forward, both in terms of our human and time resources, as well as our fiscal resources, focused on accomplishing the tasks that we decided collectively what were important to move the city forward.
Again, thank you for the time that you've spent and the time that you continue to spend on the strategic plan, and we'll be checking your calendars to do a Saturday morning with Mr. Sumek. Real quick, if I can have our finance director and our IT manager to give you a quick update on one of our priorities, and that is something of extreme importance, and that is the ERP status update.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Brief update. Sorry to hear you're feeling so bad. I hope you feel better. We made some significant milestones in the last couple of months. We've achieved our chart of accounts completion, and that's a significant milestone for our financial implementation. Kudos to Finance Director Trika, who did the yeoman's work on that. She absolutely spent a tremendous amount of time to get that accomplished, and it's a significant milestone for us. It allows us to move forward with the future development of the financial management system. It keeps us on track for an October go-live. We've also are going to be launching our GIS portal this week. You'll see some links referring to that on our city website, and that will give the residents an access into our assessor data that the county also currently provides, and we'll be updating that monthly, and that will be the linchpin for our future land management software. We are going to become a GIS-centric city, so I invite all the residents to take advantage of the opportunity to look at the software, to play around with it. It's an integration of parcel data along with some Google Earth type features, so you can actually go to Street View and navigate around the city from a digital perspective. Lastly, we're looking to go live this week with the internal portion of our Parks and Rec software. Staff will now begin to use that for processing reservations, and our web portal will be going live later this month.
Awesome. I just, random question for Finance Director, since you just mentioned about the chart of accounts. How many GLs, right, is what you call it? How many of those account numbers, lines do you guys have in our budget?
In our budget, over 5,000 different accounts.
Wow.
In our budget, it's a smaller group because we're just talking about revenues and expenditures. But from the financial perspective, we really have to care about what our cash balances are, what are our liabilities. So from that perspective, they all matter to us. So, but it's kind of, in some respects, like having a baby. It's a huge, this process that you go through, and then once you've done it, you have so much to look forward to and so much that we are going to accomplish. And I just wanted to say thank you, and we are so excited about our new system.
And thank you so much for the funding that you put in the budget. But thank you guys, because I will tell you, Mayor and Council, the level of dedication from Director Trinka and IT Manager Patrick Rosiak is above and beyond. And that is just 1/10 of the multitude of duties that they've undertaken, being creative, innovative, thinking outside the box, but really delivering excellence for you and all our residents here.
And the point that I think should also be added is the vendors that we have on board helping us in this ERP, they won't say it, but the vendors are complementary of the level of execution, the proficiency, believe it or not. You heard the number of accounts that we're referring to. So for the director to be able to launch this, to do it accurately, and believe it or not, to do it as expeditious as she has and as this whole crew has, it's really an amazing, and you all should be complimented because it's an outstanding endeavor, and you're knocking it out of the park. And so congratulations to all of you.
Thank you. The last item we will be deferring until next meeting. So with that last report, that concludes my manager's report.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Garcia. Oh, where'd our city attorney go?
He stepped outside with the other attorney. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Olive, I think is just...
We could always start council reports. I'm waiting for the city attorney. Oh, there he is. Okay. Mr. Smith, you're up next. Your report, please.
The litigation report basically talks about some foreclosures and forfeitures that is not worth your time for me to get into, but I do have David Miller, who just got here, and he's ready to answer any questions or discuss any issue regarding the lifetime benefit issue that is on the agenda now for discussion.
So we'll just take that discussion item here, and then we'll move to the election update afterward. What happened to Mr. Miller? Oh, there he is.
Miller, there he is. Mr. Miller, would you like to?
I think I think that the issue that has been raised by residents before, that is and we talked about this last meeting, or I guess it was last meeting or the one before, that there seems to be a lot of confusion and a lot of conflicting information about this business of lifetime health benefits. Who's eligible for it, who's not eligible for it, employees, elected officials, formers, cost, what does it cost, it doesn't cost, what is the effect of elections, upcoming elections, do other people get it? I mean, all of these questions, that's what we tasked the administration to come back with and give us a report on. So I guess, Mr. Miller, you're it.
But before Mr. Miller begins his presentation, one of the first assignments that was given to me when I came on board back in May of last year was to look into this issue that had been lingering for years. And we were asked to go back and look at the entire issue, the whole chronology of when this started. And I couldn't think of a better person to do that research than David Miller, who just argued a case before the Supreme Court, the Florida Supreme Court this morning, and who has on occasion looked at this issue on behalf of the prior city attorney and rendered opinions on certain matters which are not specifically on this issue. But he went back probably 20 plus years and identified every resolution, heard every transcript of every hearing, every video of what was available, met with the HR department, and he happens to be a North Miami Beach resident, so he's followed this issue over the course of many years. And I asked him, give me a final opinion on who's eligible, who's not eligible, who's vested, who's not vested, and he's done that. And we are 1,000% confident that this opinion is sound. It relies on not only the resolutions, but also the commentary that each and every member of the council made during the time that those resolutions were adopted. We looked at city attorney's reports, we looked at HR records. the amount of documents that we looked at is massive. And so we're 1,000% confident that this is the final answer that you're going to hear on this subject. Some people may like it, some people may not like it, but we're prepared to defend it to the end. And so without further ado, David Miller. Brian Miller and Olive is his law firm.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. One minor and irrelevant correction. I'm just outside the city limits, not within North Miami Beach. But
we'll fix that soon for you.
I understand that's a possibility. Now, I have a prepared presentation, which is somewhat lengthy, or if you like, that perhaps you'd like to hear that at a later date. I'm sorry that I couldn't be here earlier. I can cut right to the chase, your preference.
Okay, I think the shorter, abridged version would be great.
Very good.
I think it's important that members of the public that are hearing this, because this issue has generated so much controversy through the years, it's important that they understand that, you know, how far back you went and what were the key critical, you know, points in time or resolutions or decisions that were made that, you know, to arrive to your conclusion. And if there have been any conflicting opinions at any time, make sure that we know that, so that we can kind of understand where some of this controversy may have come up.
Let me put that last one to rest first. I'm not aware of any conflicting opinions. Okay. I'm not aware of any opinion that has addressed this issue encyclopedically, which was what Mr. Smith asked me to do. With the assistance of city staff, I examined documents going back as far as I understand they still exist in the city archives, which is 1985. This issue was the question of benefits for former elected officials, and that's what we're talking about. We're talking about benefits for elected officials who have ceased their service was in play at that time. Whether it before, I don't know, because the document trail stops in 1985. I could offer you a long litany of documents that I looked at spanning through the years. I don't think that's necessary for this kind of a presentation. What is important are, as you say, a couple of key turning points and what is the current situation. So I'm going to run back just a little bit through time to give you context, and then I'm going to tell you my conclusion. I understand that the opinion letter that I delivered to Mr. Smith has been distributed already, so I think you know the conclusion that I have come to. As far back as 1985, there were health insurance type benefits being offered to certain elected officials based on the amount of their service being offered to them after they ended their service to the city, and that went through a number of incarnations. And by 2006, let's say, or 2005, although it had changed slightly through the years, what was being offered was for city officials who had been elected to 4 terms or who had served 8 years as an elected city official, were offered the opportunity when they ended their service to participate in whatever city group health insurance, vision and dental, was being offered at the time. And at that time, the city would pay the premium for single coverage. The former elected official could add dependent coverage if he or she wanted, but that would be at the incremental expense. In other words, the amount of the premium over single coverage would be paid by the former city official. If the former city official elected for dependent coverage and then passed away, the dependent could stay on the coverage, apparently at their own cost, until they died or were otherwise ineligible as a dependent. What that means for practical purposes is the spouse. In 2006, the city there are documents that are called insurance benefits agreements that were signed by the city manager at the time, and I believe it was 7 then sitting and former council members that said, you are entitled, because of your service to date or your past service, to the same benefit that I just described to you, essentially. These documents look like contracts. The validity of them, if it were ever put to the test, I think is arguable. It doesn't matter because of later events. Those documents were basically superseded by later events. The first of the really critical turning points came in 2008. And in 2008, the question of these, and I'm now going to start calling them lifetime benefits. That's an oversimplification, but I understand that's a current term. The question of these lifetime benefits came before the council again, and a resolution was proposed that attached a memorandum from then City Manager Kelvin Baker. That memorandum basically described, I think is the best word, the lifetime benefits that were or had been made available to former elected officials, that is to say people who weren't on the dais that night, and proposed to eliminate those benefits on a prospective basis. And so it said again, those former council members who have been elected to 4 terms, and now critically at this point, the 8 years idea goes away. So it's only elected to 4 terms. And the discussion amongst the council members at that time makes it very clear that that was on purpose to delete the 8 years and to hinge it on 4 terms only. Election to 4 terms, not completion of 4 terms. So these former officials had whatever they had, and it was described as I have described it to you. Then it moved on to sitting council members at the time, the people who were on the dais that night. The memorandum said for those people, and you need to look at the document itself, of course, to get the exact details, but I'm going to summarize it for you. The people who were the then current council members would have the same lifetime benefit as those former members, that is to say, single coverage, opportunity to add dependents. In addition, those people were or could become eligible to have co-pays paid by the city, co-insurance paid by the city, and out-of-pocket health expenses paid by the city. The conditions in order to qualify for those benefits for the then sitting members were to have been elected to 4 terms, to have been first elected prior to October 1st, 2008. Any person elected initially after October 1st, 2008 would not be eligible, and no one else would be eligible going forward. So it stopped the benefits for anyone elected after October 1st, 2008, described the existing benefits for certain former council members, and made it possible for the then sitting council members to have this greater package of benefits. Some of the people on the dais that night had already been elected to 4 terms, and when they ended their service, they became entitled to this greater package of benefits. Some of the people sitting on the dais that night had not yet been elected to 4 terms and were eligible and could become eligible, could become vested or entitled in this greater package of benefits. The city attorney of the time, Mr. Leonard, referred to the vested people, which were the people who had already been elected to 4 terms, and the pipeline people, which were the people sitting on the dais that night who had not yet been elected to 4 terms, but might in the future achieve election to 4 terms. Recognizing that the people with 4 terms already would have a legal right to these benefits, and the people who had not yet been elected to 4 terms could in the future achieve that legal right. That was Resolution 2008-51. In 2009, the issue came up again. There was a considerable debate about the nature and I guess whether you wanted to continue these benefits. The outcome of that was Resolution 2009-57, I believe. I'm going from some memory here. I believe that's the correct. Yes, 2009-57. What 2009-57 did was to eliminate health insurance benefits for all then sitting and future members of this council. No benefits whatsoever, health benefits whatsoever. In 2010, the issue came up again, and this body passed Resolution 2010-41. That authorized the current sitting council members of the time, and I believe that this is still in force at this time, to participate in whatever insurance programs the city offered its employees. Now, up until 2010-41, we're talking about benefits offered to people who have served and ended their service. With 2009-57, that's all gone prospectively. And with 2010-41, council members are allowed to participate while they are sitting council members in employee health benefits. 2010-41 does not address post-service benefits. The bottom line of all of this is that there is a small group of former council persons out there who have, for the legal reasons that I go into in the letter, become legally entitled to the benefits as they existed at the time they ended their service, which is, generally speaking, what I described to you. City-paid premium for single coverage and the opportunity to add dependents at the incremental cost. There is an even smaller group of former council members who were sitting on the dais in 2008 when 08-51 was passed. They are legally entitled to, vested in, that larger group, that larger package of benefits that includes the city not only paying for the premium cost of single coverage, but also paying for coinsurance, copays, and out-of-pockets. And then there is everybody else, which includes everyone on the dais tonight, who have no post-service benefits, at least conferred by the documents that I looked at, but are able to participate while you are sitting members. What happened in 2009-57 is that the opportunity for those members who were sitting on the dais in 2008, the opportunity to become vested in that larger package of benefits in the future was taken away. And again, because of the legal analysis that I go into in my letter, that was validly and legally done with all due process, and we have the current state of affairs.
Okay, so bottom line is, I'm not sure that anyone here expected it, because of all the back and forth about what was going on, there was always this talk about if you were elected 4 terms, that you were eligible for this. So are you saying that basically everybody up here is not entitled to any kind of post-service health care?
Not only not entitled, but cannot become entitled unless the council were to pass another resolution giving yourselves new benefits in some way or another.
Okay. All right. I guess, yeah, go ahead.
One of the questions that has come up periodically is the entitlement to health insurance benefits. Taking what you said, that we have to continue to give it to a small group of previously elected officials, when they all hit Medicare age, is the city stopped from changing it to be what the coverage would, I don't know what the term is, secondary coverage or supplemental coverage? Does the city have to continue to provide full bore insurance, or can the city change that to only provide supplemental insurance?
Estoppel is a legal term of art, so I'm not going to use that word. I believe, and again, I've been on the plane all day and I haven't reviewed the document itself, but I believe that 2008-51 made the insurance secondary to Medicare, but I can't tell you for sure without having my documents.
Either that is the case, or there is language in these floating contracts that you mentioned, which were never adopted by the city council, interestingly enough. There is language in those contracts that says that Medicare is primary and the city's insurance is a supplement.
So the answer may be yes and no, depending on what individual you're talking about.
Okay. I'm not sure, and I don't see anybody here from HR, but I believe that those
right there.
Roses, where?
Rose.
Oh, I didn't see Rose. What is the city doing for retired elected officials and retired senior management? There should be some senior management people that charter officers.
Is that a question to HR?
Yeah. What is the city currently doing? Are we paying
Madam Manager,
supplemental coverage?
Let's get Ms. Amberson over here if we can. Yeah, if you want to come to the other podium or
because I know that that's been an issue that's come up before.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. There is a wide spectrum of different levels that are being paid based on the dates of employment, dates of service, and the governing resos and so forth. But you have a handful of former council members that were eligible for out-of-pocket expenses reimbursement who are currently submitting, and those that are eligible who are not currently submitting. And then you have, it's a rather lengthy list of, maybe.
Okay, so the answer is there's a hybrid.
Yeah, there's a hybrid. It depends. The answer is, I'm sorry, it depends. So there's different levels of coverage based on what their position was when they left and what was the governing statute or reso or policy in place.
Going back to Mr. Miller, the resolutions don't mention anything about this out-of-pocket coverage. The city council, how did that become the quote law of the land? Thank you, of the land. Can a city manager, by attaching a memo, bind the city council if that's not specifically in the resolution?
Resolution 2008-51 does specifically incorporate that memorandum, which gives it the force of law just the same as if it were written into the resolution body itself.
Okay. Is there any way that we could go back and try and negotiate with some of these former council members? Or, I mean,
Yes. You could do just that, and that's pretty much the only way, under normal circumstances, that this entitlement could be changed, would be an agreement with the individual.
is there any imposition of a reasonable person standard on what is submitted for out-of-pocket, or these entitled retired?
It's not in the resolution, no. It says eligible for waiver of coinsurance and copays. There is language in there, I believe, that says to the degree provided for in the plan, something like that. It's very odd language. The plan is negotiated between the city and the insurance providers over the years. If you were to, and I'm not suggesting this is what you're thinking of, but an attempt to cut the benefit by somehow manipulating the insurance contract itself. I haven't really thought about that. I guess it's possible. I think it's probably a roadmap to litigation.
Okay, my other question, and I don't know to whom this should be directed, but do we 1099 these people at the end of every year for these benefits that are being paid for them? Isn't that income to them?
Somebody.
You know, that's something we're going to have to get back to you on. I don't know the answer to that in terms of 1099 for the out-of-pocket benefits paid.
Is that a
follow up
thing?
with you.
No, a 1099 is a tax
No.
report.
I know that. I'm wondering if it's a HIPAA issue. You know.
If we're paying benefits and they're receiving the benefits, and especially for the out-of-pocket expenses, we should be 1099ing them.
I would like to be able to research that and give you a specific response, because I don't want to, guess. Okay, so I'll work with Director Trinka and come back with a specific response.
Thank you.
Okay. All set? Any other questions? The only thing I want to just circle back to is that, I know that there's a lot of people, because the election coming up, and, because of the part that you said about people that sat on the dais before 2008, is that only applies to two people up here. I know that I don't think I have any kind of, vested rights, any kind of health care benefits. I just want to make sure, I want to just say, Councilwoman Spiegel, Councilman Pierre, if this, I'm sorry, Council, does this fit any of the explanations that you've been given in the past, or, I want to make sure that we can, there's a lot of controversy out there. This is an opportunity to kind of clear the air, if you've been told anything different.
Well, I can tell you how I feel about it. When I first got elected in 2007, I was told that after 8 years of service, council members are entitled to lifetime benefits. Back then, I thought that was absurd, and I still think it's absurd today. For that same reason, I never took it, never participated in the program, never took insurance. And I pledged, and it's still my promise tonight not to take it for a lot of reasons. Number one, I don't think if I start a job at 18 years old, at the age of 26, I'm entitled for lifetime benefits. To me, it doesn't make sense. So if we don't do it anywhere else, I don't know why the city is doing it. Also, I find out for reimbursement, there were people who get reimbursed for a pair of sunglasses, $1,500. And there were a lot of abuses in the system. And I approached the city attorney at that time, Howard Leonard, and I told him I want this to be stopped. He drafted resolution 2009-57, and after discussion, we find out he didn't accomplish what we intended to. But the idea was to stop it altogether. He said, no, the people who were elected prior to 2007 should get it. But my idea, since I didn't propose the resolution or the ordinance, whatever it was, I said was to stop it, period. So I don't know what happened after that, because in 2010, when the format has been changed, and I heard a lot of different things, since I'm still confused, I still don't take it. I didn't take it in 2007, 2008, 2009, till 2009. And after 2015, Fifth, and when I get elected, I don't want it. I had better coverage from the school board. I believe that's abuse, and I could go either way. So I've heard some people make it an election issue. As far as I'm concerned, it shouldn't be for me because I didn't take it then, I don't take it now, and I do not intend to take in the future, even after I get re-elected. That's my position.
Okay. All right. Anything further?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
No, I just wanted to address that when I was elected, when I ran for office, I didn't even know you got a salary, let alone insurance. And when the new council people came in and their spouses had issues and they didn't want to change insurance, we now pay for our own insurance. Even though I'm Medicare, I kept the group insurance because the more healthy people are in your group insurance, the less it costs for everyone. So it cost me twice as much a month for the last 5 years, and I'm happy to do that. And I hear what you say. It's a non-issue. It's a non-issue.
Okay. Anything further? If not, we're set. Thank you, Mr. Miller. Thank you for taking the time to come out after your long day over there in Tallahassee.
More than happy to do it. Thank you.
Right.
Pardon me? The Supreme Court is it's a tough place to practice. They know they're on the top of their game.
Translation. The city of Miami didn't do well. So this is on the issue involving emergency, financial urgency. Yeah.
All right. We are, the only other item we have is the miscellaneous item election update from City Clerk.
Mayor and Council, I'd like to just give the dates again for the election and our early voting because I've been getting calls to my office saying that you haven't been giving us the information and therefore we don't know when it is. The election date for 2/15, May 5th, 2015, that's a Tuesday. If we should have to go into a runoff, the runoff would be May 19th, 2015, a Tuesday. Early voting for the May 5th regular election starts Thursday, April 30th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. On Friday, May 1st, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday, May 2nd from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. And Sunday, the last day of early voting, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. And that's our update for the dates. If you are going to request an absentee ballot from Miami-Dade County elections, you must do so by April 29th, 2015. And that's if you plan to vote by absentee ballot, you must make a request for your ballot to Miami-Dade County Elections Department by April 29th, 2015. Absentee ballots should go out as early as April 13th of 2015. So if you've already requested your ballot or you get one every election, you should be receiving it around April 13th, April 14th, somewhere in that time period. And if you don't receive your ballot, please call the Elections Department or call my office to get more information, 305-787-6001, and myself or a staff member can point you in the right direction. Thank you.
Let me ask, Madam Clerk, Mr. Attorney, is there a way, another item that has been, talked about constantly every time there's an election, and I know that Miami-Dade County is involved in this now, is this issue of, potential voter fraud, absentee ballot fraud, that kind of stuff. Is there a, given that we send out notices about informing the public about everything under the sun, our newsletter, the opening of a park, different camps that we do and other things like that. Is there a way, or is it, Mr. Attorney, this is a question for you, is it allowable, is it something that we can do to have some kind of a PSA or some kind of announcement, whether it be, a mailer that's sent to people, whether it be radio ads, something like that, talking about the dangers of election fraud and what's going on and that sort of thing. I know that this has been, again, this is another one of those items that's created a lot of controversy throughout the years. We hear about it every election season. And my thought is, would it be appropriate for us to do something about that or to say something about that?
Well, the memo that is on the city's website and which has been disseminated from the Dade County Ethics Commission deals with those types of activities that may result in criminal prosecution, ethics violations, and the like. I've researched in the last month or two since this issue first came up all the do's and don'ts of campaigns and what is allowed and what is not allowed. And I've been putting together a list of statutes, legal opinions, and ethics opinions on those issues, whether it's absentee ballot fraud, coercion, vote buying. There's all kinds of rules and statutes that apply to an election. More recently, the county has changed the code to deal with the issue of absentee ballot fraud. And Joe Santorino was here about a month ago and gave a very nice presentation to candidates from all over Miami-Dade County. So I think that it would probably be in fact, I think it's a good idea to come up with some kind of like a voter's guide. The county has one on its website. Many municipalities send out voters' guides during election season to inform voters about different issues. Something like that would be certainly within your purview, as long as it's factual, because it's very important to point out under state law, you can't advocate one way or another. You have to provide factual information. So as long as it's factual, that would be appropriate.
Well, I'm not talking about anything advocating one way or the other. I'm just talking about, people getting a mailer like we send we send newsletters and we send announcements about, camps, all this other kind of stuff. What's more important than protecting people's vote? So, I don't know, maybe that's something that
I'd like to be recognized by the chair when you get a chance, Mayor.
Well, I'm just thinking that if it's something appropriate, Councilman, go ahead.
I share your concern, exactly what you said, and the points that you hit, and Mr. Smith, I think nailed it right on the head. I'm not in this election cycle, but I did go through this 2 years ago. And I have to tell you, as an elected official today, when you're out there going door to door and you're putting your blood, your sweat, and your tears into a campaign, and you have other people going out there that are just basically tearing our city apart and not doing things the correct manner, and just are basically weasels out there doing the wrong thing, we need to take a proactive approach and take a measure in order to try and close this gap once and for all, because the name of this great city of North Miami Beach will not be tainted by this type of abuse when it comes to absentee ballot fraud. So, based on what you said, it resonated with me in the past couple of minutes, and I would really like to see if it's possible, City Attorney, if we can move to maybe direct our charter officers to prepare a voter's guide that will address the issues of the absentee ballot fraud in North Miami Beach, that it's something of major concern. And many of our residents may not be familiar because more than likely they just recently moved here, or because of the recent changes in the laws that have taken place. that makes it illegal to engage in certain practices. The city, unfortunately, has a history of absentee ballot fraud, and something needs to be done. So, for that purpose, this is why I'm making this motion to be able to disseminate factual information to the residents of this great city that work so hard and for the integrity of our city, to be able to put out flyers, either going into newspapers, like you said, over the radio or other sorts of media, informing them about, like you said, the do's and the don'ts, that it's very important of absentee voting, and with whom they can file a complaint with, and the penalties that can be assessed for engaging in this type of illegal activity. So as a part of my motion, I would like to direct the administration to allocate, and I would hope that my colleagues would support me to allocate a minimum of at least $15,000 to publicate and publicize this initiative in a proactive approach. That's my motion.
Okay. I was going to ask, is that a motion or a discussion? But I guess
that
it's a
is my motion,
Okay.
sir.
So you want, let me just clarify, you want a motion to have staff prepare and send out information. Is it just any information, or is it mail, radio? What do you?
Basically, the
Are you
purpose,
leaving it up to staff to figure this out?
Yeah, leave it up to staff to figure it out, but it's for the purpose of my motion is to be able to disseminate factual information to the residents of this city at the discretion of our staff via flyers, newspapers, radios, or other media to be able to inform them.
Okay. I'll take that as a motion.
Second.
Okay. Motion second. We can discuss it.
No.
I guess you've already given pretty much explanation. Do you need to say anything more? Or
No, sir. I would like to hear my colleagues.
Okay. Go ahead.
There's something that I want to bring up because I think that it's important not only for our residents to understand that, there's some things that us, when we're running, certain things that must be done, and you can guide me if I'm saying something incorrectly, but when we were at the ethics meeting, one of the things that came up is that anybody who you put to go after absentee ballots, that they must be registered. And otherwise, the person that is the person running is responsible for those individuals, which means if they do something wrong, it comes up upon us. So am I correct in saying that?
Yes, I heard Mr. Santorino
We
say
need
that.
to make one correction to that, though. The registration is if the persons are being paid to handle absentee ballots. If you have campaign workers who are being paid, you must register them.
Correct.
If they're handling your absentee ballots. And that's the difference between registering and not registering.
The other item that I wanted to bring up, which I think is also of importance, is that when we utilize this type of education to our residents, I think it's really important that we take it one step further, and that is because when somebody signs and all their information is available, that opens them up to identity theft. And I think that's really a huge item that we've been trying to, in our police department specifically, so possibly LETF funds may be able to be helpful and can be the avenue that we utilize to be able to make this happen, because I do believe that while campaigning, you come across different things that residents are saying, and I do believe that we do need to inform them of their rights and what they can and can't do. But I also think that we have to take it one step further by also letting them know that you're signing, when you put a signature on something, somebody's got that. That becomes available to anyone afterwards. I mean, those lists can be sold. So I'm urging the residents to please be so careful when your information is there and they're asking for a signature. I would really recommend that they do not go that they sign off on anything, to be honest.
Okay. Let me go over here. Go ahead, Councilwoman speak.
You know, when we sit up here as representatives of our city, and we have an obligation to be fair and to protect our city's reputation. And Councilman DeFilippo, I know you feel passionately about this, but I don't know that our city has a history of absentee ballot fraud. I don't know of any litigation, any criminal investigation, anything that has occurred that would say that our city has a history of absentee ballot fraud. And so I would hate to paint our good residents with that broad of a brushstroke. If we are going to allocate city resources and city funds for anything, I would suggest that what we do is positive, that we have faith in our residents, and that what we do is inform them as to where they can get an absentee ballot, how they should fill it out, who can collect it for them. In general, give them the information which they need to responsibly utilize an absentee ballot. And then maybe, I don't know if the county or if the state attorney's office has information on their website as to what is criminal and what is not. But I don't want to presume that our residents are going to engage in absentee ballot fraud. So maybe we should just be more proactive if we're going to do this, and educate our residents, and maybe include what Councilwoman Martell said, although, you know what, most of that information is public record anyways once you register to vote. So that's my thought.
All right, hold on. Let me go over here. Councilwoman Smith.
Thank you. I just wanted to correct what Councilwoman Martell said. Whatever you put on that paper becomes public record. All you have to do is go to the voters anytime you want. I was there today. You give them a check. They give you a receipt. You can get the information. When do they vote? How do they vote? What's their address? Who votes? Anything that they put down is public record. The one thing, not who they voted for, never who you voted for. That's a private. So what I'd like to say about this issue is that honorability goes in a lot of directions. Honorability goes in a lot of directions. You know, we have people that just want to be plain mean-spirited and nasty. And I want to tell you, if nasty's your game, don't elect me, because I'm not a nasty person. And let me tell you that I sit up here to take care of the people. My vote is for the people. When I keep hearing all this stuff, I'd like to say something stronger, but I don't talk like that, about those signs. Every time you see a Phyllis Smith sign, I personally knocked on that door. I knocked on the door in the heat, one day in the rain. And so you know what? I hear now we're talking about this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. You know what everybody tells me? It's election time. Well, you know what? Welcome to class 101. When all this stuff, we're not voting on the garbage because it's election time. We are bringing up about the insurance because it's election time. Now, this is another subject. Whether it's right or whether it's wrong, whatever this council wants to do, let's do it. I want to have a fair run for your seat, take care of the people, election. That's it. You want to take care of the public and you think you can do a good job at it, please put your papers in and run. But then run an honorable campaign. And then at the end of the day, the public will decide whoever they vote for. And I don't know if you could control somebody that wants to be dishonorable. I don't know if you could do that, Councilman. If they want to be dishonorable, they're going to be dishonorable.
But they're going to get caught.
You know, I have to tell you, I've seen a lot of stuff going on around here, and you don't always get caught. The bottom line is everybody has to answer to themselves, to their families, and to their higher power. In my seat, all I can say is I want the public to vote for who they want to take care of them after the election's over. That's what they should be doing. And that's what an election is about. We live in America. You can vote for who you want to take care of you from now for the next 4 years, and 2 years from now for that 4 years, to take care of you and how your tax dollars are spent and how decisions are made. That's what an election is. And I just tell you, I see a lot of things. To bring each and everything up, let's just try to have a good, clean election, run for your office, take care of the public, and then the public will go in and they will vote to take care of you. Thank you very much.
Well, let me get Councilwoman Kramer, and then I'll go here.
So me?
Or do you
Okay.
you still want?
Yeah.
No.
So, look, it's a novel. First of all, does anyone know if other cities do this type of advertisement?
There are some cities who, for example, you have people out there who may want to vote absentee ballot, don't know how. They send out little mailers like Councilwoman Spiegel said, with just information stating if you want to order an absentee ballot, when you can order it, how you can do so, registering to vote, when you should register, how you, it's an information.
Okay. Because I think that, so just good to know, I'm always looking for the benchmarks although there's nothing wrong with us being the first. But there is a problem here, Councilwoman Spiegel, and it's wonderful that you don't know, but I will tell you is the truth. I've been in touch with the ethics department. First of all, I think it was 4 years ago that I brought the Florida Elections Commission down here so they watched the polls because residents asked that it be done. Nobody was making the calls. I don't know what happened. I made the call, okay? It's not easy for them to catch things because you're at these polls and you're running. I mean, how many people do you think they send here? One. And they're jumping from poll to poll and nothing happens. I could assure you that our ethics department or our state attorney's office knows very well of issues that have happened here. Okay? I know them and they know them. Yes, we do have a problem here. And it's only until it escalates into something so bad we don't want to happen. We want fair elections, and unfortunately, absentee ballots, for whatever reason, people get taken by the idea of the easiness of them, of not having to make a decision, liking the person that is in front of them, and they take those suggestions, and then they, sometimes write it for them. And actually, 4 years ago, I know of an incident that happened, but it wasn't illegal back then to be holding a bag full of absentee ballots, okay? But it is now, thankfully.
You can only have 2 in your possession.
Correct.
And that's
But
yours
this was
and
a
one
bag
of the immediate
full,
resident.
a bag, okay? So I think that we do need to do this, and I think what we could do is do it positively, as my colleague Councilman Spiegel said, but I think also we need to have a little bit of a bulletin there letting people know that it is illegal. And you know what? If you're convicted, I mean, maybe we have to have some sort of a, what is it? When people are, what's it called?
A reward?
A reward. I'm sorry. Or something so that maybe if you have a reward, maybe people will tell on other people.
Well, let me state
Wow.
That in agreements with a lot of what you said. From my professional experience, my advice is that people need to know where to make these reports and to who to make these reports.
Right.
And that sometimes is part of the problem. Because I do have people who will call me with issues and incidents because I am your qualifying officer, but that's all I am. I'm your qualifying officer. I do not have jurisdiction to enforce or investigate or any of that.
But if they report to you, may I just ask, do you?
I
Okay.
then direct them to where they should go to
That's
make the
what we
report. If they do it, if they don't, I don't know. But we do try to get, that's all I would like to do, is do it informational so that we can get the information out. What to do, what not to do, where to go, when to go, who to contact. I think knowledge is power.
I agree.
And, okay, that's it.
All right. Councilman Pierre.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Once again, we're trying to clean up our city, which is a good thing. But there's a fine line between fixing and infringing people's rights. I understand personally, as a campaigner, as a hard worker on the street, when I knock on somebody's door, after 5 minutes, I can determine whether or not the person is favorable or not. Most of you are. And then once the person agrees to vote for me, I give him three choices. You can go to the poll on election day. You can go out on early voting days. I give you the date and the time. Or you can vote absentee. I do not have the right to tell person, do this one, don't do that one. What I'm securing is the vote. If you go into detail to say, do this one, don't do this one, I think we trying to infringe people's rights. I don't think that's part of America. If we want to address election issue, we cannot address one aspect of it, like absentee ballot, which is a good thing. What about stealing people's signs? I've put signs that disappear within an hour. And I got at least, thank God to technology, I got one resident who document on video one person removing my sign while another guy in a white truck assisting him. And I got that video. These are the issues we need to address. Look, if we want to clean up, let's clean up. Don't pick one aspect and leave another one. I think we have to do them all.
Okay. I brought this issue up because I just thought that if we could do a small thing to basically, it's a PSA, it's a public service announcement. It's certainly not meant to say don't vote absentee or don't do this or do that. That's not what I would imagine that the county may even have a flyer that is already made and has been blessed by county lawyers and everything. And if that doesn't go out, to us, I was looking at I was thinking something small that we could do that just gets the word out to people. It certainly is, nothing is ever going to solve all the problems. As Councilman Smith said, if somebody's going to break the rules, they're going to break the rules. So we know it's not going to solve all the problems, but you know what? It will help some of the problem. That's for sure. It will help some of the problem. It will deter some people. And so I don't see anything wrong with it. I would support the idea to do it. Again, it's just informing people, because I just heard something new right now in the earlier discussion about people collecting absentee ballots. I thought only a relative could have an absentee ballot, and it could only be one or two, I guess.
It's two. Yours and one of the
So that their own plus one family member. So how can somebody get paid to be having absentee ballots in their possession?
It's not paid to have them in their possession. It's people who are paid to assist them with the filling out of
my. Okay. All right. Listen. We could go on all night on this. I'm in favor of doing it. I think it's a small thing. We publicize a lot of things. This is somebody's vote. You keep it positive. You keep it in the line with what the county does with their stuff, and I don't see anything wrong with it, so I would support it. Anybody else with anything? Or okay, we can go around the horn real quick.
This was not an agenda item. We were basically at the end of the agenda. Is this inappropriate?
Doesn't have to be under the Sunshine Law. It does not have to be a specific agenda item. As long as the meeting is noticed, you don't have to have every item that you discussed on an agenda for you to be able to vote on it. And I've got the law on here in case anybody wants to question what I just said.
When is it?
All right. Let me go back in order of how we started in case anybody else wants another, because then I just want to dispose of this. Anybody else with any other comments?
I just want to know what's the it that you approved this.
The motion that was made by Councilman.
But the 15,000's for what?
Well,
what is that for? I mean,
okay.
$15,000. Let's find out how much it would cost to send it. Is it $15,000? You can send to every resident for how much? How much does it cost to print it?
Okay.
Let's find out before we vote.
Let's do this. Let's do this. We have motion. It's seconded. I mean, we've really beat this one to death.
Well, no, we don't even know what it is. What are we bidding?
The motion is this. Here's the motion. Can I just rephrase it, what you said?
Yes, Mayor.
Basically, the motion that we've been discussing is Councilman DeFilippo made a motion to instruct staff to prepare within a budget of $15,000 a PSA program to get the word out to the voters of the city about the voting and potential pitfalls in voting and things to avoid in with absentee ballots and your voting. And I think in the discussion, obviously, staff will use in their judgment in that there's already apparently some county approved materials that kind of do this, so they have guidelines. It's not like they're reinventing the wheel here. So the motion is, if you want to have some sort of PSA budget go out of, he said, mail and potentially radio to tell to notify voters and inform them of potential issues of voting and how to protect their ballots. Did I get it right?
That is correct.
Okay. Then it was seconded. If you're in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I can't. You know what? Let me have a show of hands. If you're in favor, raise your hand. If you're in favor, raise your hand.
I wanted to ask something before.
We
vote.
called the question.
Aye. Now can I say something?
No. Okay. If you're opposed, raise your hand. So okay, it's 4-3. The motion passes. It's in the hands of the administration, Mr. Attorney.
Can I just say, can we spend as little as possible to get this out? Because 15,000.
Okay. Yep.
As
Okay,
little
wait.
as possible.
I mean, does the city have, this is only going to go to registered voters who live within the city?
Of course. It's a voter. It's a PSA to voters.
Your decision has to be whether you want it to your registered voter list or to your resident list.
No, obviously it would be registered voters.
Okay.
Voters, non-voters don't vote. I mean, we can
Non-voters
I guess clarify that, but
No.
okay. Listen. Come on.
This is serious, guys.
Okay. Where's my? All right. That was the last item. Council reports. Madam Clerk.
Hold it. I got one question for the city attorney. What should I tell my resident who document somebody stealing my sign, got in on video when a guy in a white truck assisted him?
Turn it in.
If you provide me with a video, I will bring it to the chief, and the chief and I will then decide whether to take it to the state attorney's office or wherever it belongs. And there will be an investigation. I can't investigate. I don't have a staff to investigate complaints, but I can forward your complaint to whatever body investigates those things.
Or in your handbook, you can look at the agencies that are listed there, that if you wanted to go directly yourself without coming through.
Okay.
And make the complaint.
All right. Thank you. All right. Let's go. Council reports.
Councilman DeFilippo.
Good evening, everyone. I'll make it short and sweet. Tomorrow we are taking out to Tallahassee for days. We are going to go ahead and continue to work on the FERDAP money and the monies that we have for the sewer projects for the city. We will be back on Thursday night, and we will continue to work hard for the city of North Miami Beach to make sure the residents get everything that they deserve coming from Tallahassee. Thank you very much for your support. Have a very nice and blessed evening.
Councilwoman Kramer.
Good evening, everybody. Just want to let you know, well, most of the items the city manager was nice enough to mention to everyone, but just so you know, under committee reports, the Beautification Committee will be hosting, along with Parks and Recreation and the entire city, Arbor Day, which will be April 24th, 2015. Oh, I said Parks and Recreation. It's Public Works. I do that all the time to Esmond. I'm sorry, Esmond. I still love you, Paulette. Anyway, so it's April 24th. It's from 10 to 12. a.m. to p.m. at Dolphin Park, which is northeast 170th Street and 3rd Court. We're going to be changing that park a little bit, turning it into more of a game park with game tables and a butterfly garden, and it should be really, really nice and a big change from what it is today. Also want to let everyone know about the Multicultural Committee meeting, which is Monday, April 13th. We'd love to have some new members to give us some great ideas to spread our mosaic community all over the place. And we also have our history tour which is April 18th. If you haven't been on it, I suggest you come. It's a lot of fun and a lot of great knowledge for our small 5 square miles. We've got a lot of great history. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
Vice Mayor Martell.
Good evening, everyone. Just a couple of things which I find to be very interesting. When you're out there talking to the residents, every year I have meetings in the different locations, and I find that residents don't come to them. Again, I continue having them because that's what I promised I would do. But I'm finding more and more that, the residents have certain issues, and the one thing that I can say is please come to us. It makes it very difficult. I don't know what is happening at each neighborhood or at, each location. So if you come forth and let us know, we can at least make an attempt to go ahead and address your needs. And that is what we're here for, to be able to address your needs. The second thing I wanted to mention, for those of you who are interested in becoming involved in our education committee, we're taking applications. It's really important that if you have a small child or a child in high school, you get involved with the schools at elementary level. There is a huge PTA. They're very strong PTA, but once you get into the middle schools and high schools, that's where we're having the deficiency. So again, I recommend our residents out there to join the education committee, because you're going to find that it's going to help you to get the services that you want for your children. So please get involved. Contact our city clerk's office so you could fill out an application. And with that said, thank you very much, and see you in 2 weeks.
Councilman Pierre.
Thank you. Good evening. At the beginning of the meeting, there was a proclamation, I believe, for Library Week. And the library is one of the few things I'm really proud of in our city. And as we celebrate Library Week, I'm asking each and every one of you, if you haven't never go into a library, make yourself a commitment to go this time and see what our library is about and offer a suggestion. Second thing, it's election times. And once again, I'm asking everyone who is a registered voter to come and cast your vote either way you want, whether by absentee, early, or at the poll. Make your vote count. Every vote counts. Thank you very much. I love you all.
Councilwoman Smith.
Thank you. Thank you very much. First and foremost, let me say that I did not vote for the resolution that was just put before me because I didn't have any facts of how much it costs, what's it going to say. Truthfully, we went around with 6 different things in spite of what maybe the mayor said. Is it going to have the penalties? Is it going to say this or that? So I hope everybody out there will vote honorably. I hope they'll go to the polls, and I hope they'll remember that when whoever they vote for, that's who's going to govern them the next 4 years. I want to thank the city manager, because when we know, we try to help. I thank my fellow council people who helped this woman that lives behind the temple next to a 7-Eleven that has so much negative that she can't even raise her family in peace. When they knew, they took care of her. And the city manager, when we saw in one of our neighborhoods for the Jewish holidays and for Passover that they've always had at their disposal a regular garbage truck so that they could clear their house for the holiday of all of the leavened foods. I have to tell you, I've got so many calls, and I just appreciate it because they came with garbage cans, and somebody said to them, you came with garbage cans? And they went back and got a truck, and they filled up almost 2 full trucks. And the people were just so appreciative. And it's one of the things that's nice about being a council person. If you know that there's a problem, whether it's crime, whether it's a pothole, whether it's whatever it is, if we can fix it, if we know, we try to. When it comes to Councilman DeRosa's, which I'm very pleased, it's finally coming and he's going to have that honor, but I want you to please reach out to the former, where he was the mayor in El Portal, and to the former council people and associations that he was very involved with for 20 years, and the Haitian community, because as the first elected Haitian in the United States, I think we should have a marvelous big showing that day. We went to a wonderful program, almost all of us, and the manager and I were sitting there, and they honored the police in their department, in their city. They honored their police for their service they're giving. City Manager, I would like to honor our police. As soon as you can fit that in a schedule, you and I both looked at each other and said, what a nice idea. We talk about the police. If somebody does something special, we bring them up. But the police department for taking care of us. So when you can fit that in your schedule, I'd like very much for you to do that. I want to also congratulate again the Finkels on their, it's 1777 Northeast 163rd Street, on being a small business that flourished in North Miami Beach for 45 years, drug prescriptions and service to the public. And I would also remind everybody the spade and neutering is being done on a Sunday. So if you're a Saturday observer, you could bring your cats. You have to make an appointment with the county, call up Commissioner Heyman's office, and then take care of that, because we had somebody, I believe, from Highland Village that came up and said that was a major issue. It's coming up, so make sure that you make an appointment and we take care of that for you. And the last thing I'd like to say, yes, it's election time. Yes, welcome to Elections 101. But on a happier note, most of you that were involved in my very first election knew my brother Lenny, who was always attached to me at the hips. He was 15 months older. We didn't have a father. He taught me how to ride a bike. He taught me how to swim. He made that election so much fun. He made me win by a landslide. And I want to, on this day, wish Lenny a happy 70th birthday. May he rest in peace. Thank you very much.
Councilwoman Spiegel.
Thank you. Monday, April 13th, no planning and zoning meeting. Commission on the Status of Women meets at 7 o'clock on the 4th floor. We're always looking for a few good women, so if you're interested, please come by and join our Commission on the Status of Women meeting. Recycling is a week from tomorrow, so don't put your recycling bins out tonight. Put them out a week from tonight. And yes, it's election time, and no, I'm not running. I am in the middle of a 4-year term, but every now and then I take a moment and thank the residents for their trust and the privilege of serving as a city council member in this city. And so thank you. And I too want to thank the police, because on Saturday, 163rd Street turned into a parking lot. There was one accident going east and there was one accident going west, and it was a parking lot. And our police officers were out there in the sun and the heat doing yeoman service with a smile. And when somebody asked a question, they were polite, they were courteous, they answered as how we would want them to answer. And so to all of you officers who were out there working that parking lot on Saturday, thank you for being such great representatives of our city. Good night. See you in 2 weeks.
Mayor Vallejo.
Well, I want to remind everyone that, about the election upcoming. Obviously, as several of my colleagues have said, make sure that you get out and vote, either with your absentee ballot or with early voting, which the city is providing 4 days of early voting. So really, there's no excuse to not cast your vote. It's very important. You go out and vote. And this Saturday, I just want to remind, I'm not sure if they would have any tickets left at this stage of the game, but the Spanish Monastery's annual gala is this Saturday. And if you have any questions or wish to attend, I don't know their number, but you can call 305-948-2986, and the manager's office will be happy to put you in touch with them. It is a great event and a great fundraiser for a true treasure in our city. So I would say, if you can make it, come out and join us.
Mr. Mayor, if there's no tickets left, I think they'll set up another table.
They will.
Because it is a fundraiser.
Okay. A couple tables, hopefully, right? And the last thing I want to touch base is that just want the residents to know that, tomorrow and Thursday, I'll be traveling to Tallahassee with a few of my colleagues and the city manager. And we're going for this will be the third trip to work and advocate for our city's needs in Tallahassee. We went early. We were the first ones out of the gate over there with our city's requests. A few weeks ago, I went up to speak before the Senate committee about our requests, and tomorrow and Thursday we will be there, and Thursday I will have a meeting with the governor's office to make sure that the governor also is in tune and knows about our requests. Last year we were able to come back with over $350,000 to help our city, and my personal goal this year is we have about $2 million in requests for state funding for various initiatives in the city, and I sure hope that we can at least triple that number when the session is over and when the governor finally signs the final budget later this summer. And with that being said, everyone, thank you for coming out tonight, and good night, and we will see you in 2 weeks on the 21st at 7:30 p.m. Motion adjourned. Second. All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you, guys.